Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about berry lipsticks. I know I'm not really wearing the right makeup look right now to be talking about berry lipsticks, but it is the fall time and I thought I would do a video on all of the berry lipsticks that I have in my makeup collection to show you what different shades I have and sort of like some different families that I feel fit into the berry category. I already did a video like this about all of my red lipsticks as well as all of my nude lipsticks. So if you would like to see those, then I will make sure to link those in the eye above. And this entire video is inspired by this lipstick. This is an old Estee Lauder limited edition lipstick in the shade Black Cassis. They say it's a matte, but it's a very dark, deep, vampy lipstick shade. And I was wearing this all week to work, and it's very rare for me to not change up my lipstick every single day. So for me to be wearing a lipstick every single day for like a week straight, then I know that I have something on my hands here. So it is the fall time. Berry lipstick is one of my favorite things to wear in the fall time, so I thought that would be no better time to show you my berry lipstick collection than now. I will be swatching everything on my arm for you. So if there's a shade that you like, I will make sure to swatch all of them down. I have 20 of them here, so that's quite a bit. So let's just get to it. The first family of lipsticks I want to talk about is just a straight up berry. And I feel that they are a little bit difficult to find because a lot of berries can pull kind of red or kind of purple or a little bit more pink. I also have those. But like a good straight up berry is just it's pretty hard to find, I find. Let's just talk about one of the OG berry lipsticks that I think everybody who has been watching YouTube or following bloggers for a long time will remember, the Kate Rimmel lipstick in 107. And that looks like this. It's just a straight up berry shade. And they sadly no longer do these. Maybe you can find them on eBay. So it's a bit of a wonky swatch because I'm right there on my wrist. But this is a great lipstick. It's very much like that sort of like burgundy red lipstick. It's a nice berry shade, a little bit darker, but nothing too red, not too purpley. This is just a really nice sort of like in-between shade. That's a very affordable option, but you can no longer get it. Something that I think is very comparable, but that is very expensive, is by Charlotte Tilbury, and this is Love Liberty. I think this is a bit more purple, but it's nothing too crazy dark. Oh yes, these definitely swatch very similarly. So that's Love Liberty right below it. As you can see, this shade is very comparable to that. It's perhaps a little bit more plum. The Rimmel one is a bit more red, but I think it's very comparable once they are on your lips. But yeah, it is a bougie, expensive lipstick, but these Matte Revolution lipsticks by Charlotte Tilbury are some of my personal favorites. I don't mind splurging on those. Then I think one that also goes into this category is Beetroot by Bite Beauty. This is an Amuse Bouge lipstick, and I need to wind it down a little bit because else it's going to break. And this is a bit brighter. It's of course also not necessarily a berry shade, as it's called Beetroot. So it has the color of beetroot. I think that that's the best way to describe this. This is again a little bit more red. I think it also has more of a hint of pink to it, but it still falls in this same sort of tonal category of like berry lipsticks that are just a berry and nothing else. Then we have Plum Fiction from the Catrice Ultimate Color line. And this is a bit more muted, I feel. It's called a plum, but they also do one that's actually called Legend Berry. But sadly, that one is very sort of like more like a black and red, whereas this is very much just a straight up berry shade. So this is a really nice one, I find, because it's again very comparable to the Rimmel one. Again, a little bit more purple than that. Like all of these are very similar, but just slightly different. So you could very well just do with one of these. You definitely don't need all of them. This one is discontinued. This one is expensive. This one is super comfortable, but I find with the Bite Beauty lipsticks, if you go for a brighter shade, they do kind of travel on me a little bit. So it's sometimes a little bit difficult to make sure they stay put all day. And this one by Catrice is also a cream formula. The Charlotte Tilbury one is the one I have the least issues with. So that would be definitely my pick if I had to keep only one of these. but this is sort of like my straight up berry category. I also wanted to put in a couple of lipsticks that I feel are not necessarily berry, but they do give you that same idea, but they're a bit more like on the neutral side. So maybe I already mentioned some of these in my nude lipstick category, but I feel they're a bit too dark to be an actual nude, but it's definitely a little bit more muted, a little bit more toned down. So one shade I think that's very wearable that is by MAC, and it's MAC Syrup. Now this is a luster finish, so it's quite sheer, and it doesn't necessarily do a whole lot for your lips. On me, this is sort of like a My Lips But Better shade, but I feel it has like a berry undertone to it. It has this like plummy berry shade to it, and I personally really like that. So that's MAC Syrup. Another MAC lipstick that I think works really well for this, but that's definitely a little bit darker is this a satin? It's a satin, and it's Captive. And Captive is like, well, you could say satin's darker sister. It looks like that. It's definitely a little bit on the neutral side. It's definitely not as berry and intense as the ones at the top. But if you like something a bit more neutral, then this is actually a really, really nice one to try. It definitely has that like berry feel to it. It makes your lips a little bit darker, and I love wearing this shade in the fall time because it just works really, really well. And then I have two liquid lipsticks here by Ofra. They are in very, very close shades. They look a little more distinctive on camera, I have to say, than in real life. One of my favorites by Ofra is Santa Ana. And this is like it's more like a deep rose almost, I'd say. But as you can see, when I swatch it next to Captive, it's actually very similar to Captive. So it is a little bit darker, a little bit more like on the rosy side, but if you like something a bit warmer and something that isn't, because berries can be quite cool toned of course, then Santa Ana is a nice one. And I also have Manhattan here, and Manhattan is more like the purple plummy version of that. So if you put that next to it, you can see that that is a lot more purple. It's definitely darker. It has more of like a gray undertone, but for me, this does fall into like the berry category because it just has a really, really nice sort of deep plummy shade to it that can pull a little bit more berry depending on your natural lip color. Since my lips, of course I'm wearing a red lipstick right now. This is Chili by MAC, by the way. But my lips are naturally quite purple, so I feel that I can get away with these shades and they kind of pull on me as a berry. Talking about purples, I also wanted to feature some like more purple-based berries, you could say. Some of these are quite dark and quite purple. A very affordable option is a matte lipstick from Catrice. This is, what's this called? This is Dramatic Lilactic, the names on these things. And this looks very sort of purple. So again, it pulls a lot more purple, but I feel that berries and purples are very close together, you could say. And ooh, I need to swatch more from this side, I think. There we go. So as you can see, if I put that next to Manhattan, it's very close to that, but it's a bit more muted. And it's a little bit more purple, I'd say. A little bit more on the berry side too, so that's a nice one. One of my favorites is Urban Decay's Venom. This also has more of like a purple tone to it, but this was one of the lipsticks when I wanted to try like berry lipsticks for the very first time. I just wanted to get this. It definitely is more of a berry than the other two, I feel. This definitely looks very purple in the tube, but it pulls a lot more like pinky reddish on the skin, so that's why I like that. A lipstick that also does that is Max Rebel. I think Urban Decay still does this in their Vice lipstick line, so you can still get it. But if you like MAC more, Urban Decay is cruelty-free, MAC isn't, so that's always something. Then Rebel actually will get you this very same effect as Venom does. These are almost identical, as in, I'm now swatching them side by side. I don't think from that distance you can really see a difference between the two. I'd say that Venom is a hint more purple than the MAC one. The MAC one is a little bit more pink. And like Venom, when you look at it in the tube, it looks like a straight up purple, but it definitely goes on a little bit more sheer, so you don't get such an intense shade if you don't want to. And then we also have some vampy shades. So berries can be very vampy and very deep and dark. And one of my first picks that I want to show you is Colourpop's Hutch. I've swatched it right here. It's definitely like a purple, so it kind of fits into the previous category, but it's very, very deep and dark, and that's why it doesn't really pull very berry perhaps, but you can definitely see in some of like the spare bits of my swatch that this has a bit of like a pinky undertone to it, which makes it perfect as a berry. Some more affordable options then. I don't think this is still for sale, but this is one of my favorite berry toned lipsticks. This is NYX's High Voltage lipstick, and this is the shade, I believe it's called Wicked. Oh no, it's Wine and Dine. And this was quite famous back in the day when they still did these. It's like a very slim tube, so I don't wear it all that often because the tube just gets really messy. And this is again a little bit deeper, more on that like wine Merlot side, which I like very much in a berry shade. So that's the NYX one right there. So talking about wine colored shades, I think Maybelline actually does one called Midnight Merlot, and this is from their Bold line, so the one with the blue tube. And this is again also very, very intense. This does pull a little bit more brown, I feel. So let's put it side by side to Wine and Dine, and then you can see the difference right there. It's definitely a little bit more intense, and it has a bit more of a brownish reddish undertone to it, I feel. This is a really nice drugstore lipstick. I really enjoy wearing that. And then some of my favorite drugstore, like more affordable lipsticks, are the ones by Topshop. I think these are like £8 or something, and if you have a Topshop near you, they always have a beauty section somewhere. You have to look for it sometimes, but this is definitely a really nice, also again, very vampy berry shade. So if I put it next to that, there you have it. That's Wicked by Topshop. Again, a little bit less intense than the others. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like a darker version of Venom or Rebel by MAC and Urban Decay. And then in that same category, I just really like vampy berries, I'm afraid. I have Sin by MAC. I also put this in my red lipstick collection because this is one of those shades where, is it a red? Is it a plum? Is it not? It's just a really nice dark vampy shade. So if you like that, then Sin is a really, really nice one. It's a matte, so it's a bit tougher to apply. And this is what I mean with like a berry that has more of like a brown undertone to it, which is why this looks a little bit more red, I feel. It looks like a dark red, especially compared to everything here, but on my lips, this actually pulls quite purpley. So that's why Sin is put in this category. And then I have another Urban Decay lipstick. This is the matte formula in After Dark. They still do this in their Vice lipstick range. I just have it in the older packaging. And if I put that next to it, this is more like the matte version of Venom, which is more like a cream. So this is a little bit darker, a little bit more intense than the ones here. And this is very pretty also, again, as a berry lipstick shade. And then we are, of course, also going to feature the lipstick that made this video happen. This is Estee Lauder's Black Cassis, and I've been wearing this so much lately, and this was limited edition. You can sadly no longer get this. But now that I put it next to Venom or After Dark, then you can see again that these are quite similar. As sort of like a bonus, I wasn't really sure whether I should put this with like a pink. If I ever do a pink lipstick video, then maybe I should feature these in that. But I figured that these also work as berries, at least on me. What I really like as well is like a really good bright lipstick from time to time, and I feel that these really do that. One of the first ones I got is YSL, and this is in the shade 208, and I believe this thing is called Fuchsia something, Fétiche, I think. Fuchsia Fétiche, that's what this is called, and let me just swatch it on my other arm for the time being. And I hope you can see why I think this is not just a bright pink, but why it is more of a berry, because if you put this side by side, as you can see, it sort of goes with some of these like brighter shades here. So it's a very sort of bright, perhaps a pink, but it does have a bit of that like undertone to it that makes it like a very bright berry. And I also have Reddish by Bite Beauty. This is again from their Amuse Bouge range. And I just feel that that's a little darker. This is definitely more on the berry side, I feel, than the YSL one. The YSL one is a little bit brighter, a little bit bolder, a little bit more in your face. But this one has a really nice, like, deeper undertone. And again, if you put this side by side, it does go in that color family. And then my latest edition is this one by Swatches. And this is in the shade Cassis. And this is their Gourmand Velour lipstick. And I have been wearing this loads as well, which is why I had to feature these shades in this category too. I really like wearing these shades in the fall and winter time. This is a matte. And as you can see, if I swatch it next to that Bite Beauty lipstick, you can see that this is also very similar, like a berry, but a very, very bright berry. So again, berries come in different shades and sizes, as you can see. Like one berry isn't the same as the other berry. I think that this is like, when it comes to berries, this is like the most classic selection. But I like berries that pull a bit more purple or a little bit more pink, or that are just really nice and vampy. Those are my favorites. But let me know in a comment down below if you have any of these shades and what you consider to be a berry lipstick, because berries can be difficult to find, I have to say. They just come in so many different shades. So yeah, these are the lipstick I wanted to show you in today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe, because I post new videos twice a week. I post on Thursdays and Sundays at 5 AM Central European time. So I really hope to see you in my next video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!